Are you indispensable at your career and in life, or are you just a cog in the machine that is easily replaceable? In this book, which is very aptly titled Linchpin, Seth Godin talks about how you can become one. Linchpins, he says, are essential blocks of organizations, and in today's world, they get the best jobs and freedom. There's a village, he says, in China, outside of Shenzhen, called Dafan. It is said that 60% of the new oil paintings worldwide was produced here. And the workers in Dafan are very diligent and talented, but they aren't artists. They are painters. They're cogs in this painting machine. And he talks about how he owns 2 paintings from Dafan, which he got for around $60 each. Who knows which Dafan resident painted it? No one. Who cares? No one. The painters are easily replaceable. So the 2 key topics we'll talk about from this book today. Why do you and your organization benefit from linchpins? And then how do you become a linchpin yourself? So the first one, he substantiates it with the story of UK versus France. So in the time today that we live in today, it becomes more essential in order to survive in the workplace, because the days of being a cog in the wheel is over, both for ourselves and the teams that we lead. Back in the day, we bought into this mentality of a factory worker, where in exchange for doing what we were told and what was expected of us without any resistance, we were rewarded with a paycheck or with health insurance and job security. As we all know, those days have disappeared. But this factory mindset still persists. According to Godin, one of the only ways to survive in this new world is by becoming a linchpin. And the challenge, he says, in becoming a linchpin solely based on your skill doesn't exist, because the market that can find other people with that skill is surprisingly easy, right? Because plenty of people can play the keyboard as well as you could, or they can program in Python as well as you can. So if all that you can do is the task alone, and if you're not in a league of your own in doing that particular task, then you are not indispensable. On the other hand, emotional labor, he says, is rarely used as a competitive advantage. We spend our time trying to perfect our craft versus, and we do not focus our skills and interactions that allow us to stand out and become indispensable to our organizations. So he gives this example of how France was embracing handmade luxury goods, while Great Britain went about embracing this anonymous factory, which made things faster and cheaper, right? And therefore, made in France came to mean something, and it still does. Whereas the mechanizing and cheapening of the process made it easier for others to copy. So relying on humanity, he says, makes things difficult and scarcity creates value. So he says showing up and staying through the day of your job is good. Meeting the spec and meeting expectation is good. But the problem with meeting expectations is that it's not remarkable and it's easy to emulate, which makes you easy to replace. So therefore, how do you become a linchpin? He says that the job is what you do when you're told what to do, right? The job is showing up at the factory and following the manual and being managed. So someone can always do your job a little better or faster or cheaper than you can. So your art, as versus just doing your job, is what you do when no one can tell you exactly how to do it, right? Your art is the taking responsibility and challenging the status quo and changing the people. And he calls the process of doing your art the work. And he says that it's possible to have a job and still do your work within the confines of your cubicle, right? So he talks about how even within your organizations, you can solve problems that people haven't predicted, or see things that people haven't seen, and connect people who need to be connected. So bottom line, he says, the key to being a linchpin, there's no map. You need to create one yourself and be an artist. I hope this has been useful to you guys. Yeah, talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.